With storms rolling through Bakersfield, a lot of renters are suddenly spotting leaks in their ceilings, and what can start out as a little drip can turn into a major habitability problem. We're talking water damage, mold, even electrical risks. So what should tenants be looking out for, and what are your rights if a landlord doesn't jump in on a repair? Miguel with CD Law is back with us to break it all down. Hello, sir.
Hi, Kate. How are you?
I'm doing great. You are coming in just in time. We've been raining nonstop around here.
It has, and especially during the rainy season is where we start seeing issues with water leaks, especially in older apartments here in Bakersfield.
What are those first signs that we should be watching for?
Well, a lot of people think that it has to be water visibly dripping down, and that's probably that's when you know that there's a leak, obviously.
That's the big part of the issue.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of times where the ceiling is brown, the ceiling will start sagging or look bubbly. And those are the issues or the times where people need to call their landlord and put them on notice and get them to fix it.
And water damage can be significant because of the issue of mold. I mean, how fast will we see an issue from a leak turn into mold?
That's a great question. It happens within 24 to 48 hours that mold starts building up. And we've had cases where people will call the landlord and the landlord will send a handy person and just paint over the actual mold. And I just want to let people know that is not right.
It doesn't solve the problem.
Fix anything. Correct.
Yeah, it's not safe. You're just literally covering up, but it's still growing under there.
It totally is, and it doesn't really do anything. The worst is when you have ceilings that collapse.
Yeah.
And obviously property damage gets destroyed, people can get hurt, and it really becomes an issue.
So what do we do if we're contacting our renter and we're calling, we're emailing, we're trying to get somebody out here, and maybe they're doing that where they're only not really fixing the problem but masking it?
Sure. That's when you have to, first off, take pictures, video of all of the damage. Even if you think it may not be damage, take pictures. Then write everything. Anytime you contact your landlord, you have to put that in writing and track that communication. If they're delaying or they're just not doing anything that you think is appropriate, you can call the Bakersfield Code Enforcement as well as our office, and we can guide you to the steps needed to build a good case.
At what point does it have to hit? Because I mean, we're saying, hey, there's a problem, to they're not fixing the problem, to even code enforcement isn't helping. I mean, it's a big problem by the time it gets to your desk, right? Yeah,
unfortunately, a lot of times people think the situation is going to get better, and it doesn't. And so I always tell people at the first sign of a leak, it's better to contact us, because then we can be in touch with the landlords, and when they hear from us, it's different than when they hear from a renter. So obviously they know that we mean business, and so things turn out better for the renters when they call us.
Is there anything that renters can do kind of proactively to make sure that their roofs are in shape for the winter, to try to say, hey, there's already an issue?
Well, unfortunately, sometimes roofs, from just like observing them, they look okay.
Yeah.
But then when the rains come, that's when you start seeing or hearing drips behind the walls.
Oh yeah, it can be in the wall too, right?
Exactly. And so it damages the wood, and like you said, the mold issue becomes a very serious thing. We've had calls of people getting sick with mold, especially young children, which we know that's a serious issue.
So we should also be looking for those symptoms of the ceiling on our walls too, in case the drips are coming in between the walls.
That's right. If the wall is soft to the touch, or if it smells musty after rain, then we have an issue there.
Okay, so if anyone needs to reach out to you, maybe they're dealing with a landlord who's just not helping them out, how do we get a hold of you?
Sure. CD Law Firm on the socials. The telephone number is up on the screen, and we're more than happy to help, even if it's just to guide people through the process. But we want to let people know that they are entitled to compensation when this stuff happens.
Yeah, and you have the right to not live in an unsafe environment.
Absolutely. Every time the first of the month comes, the landlord expects the rent, so I think the law provides securities for renters.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and getting us prepared for the season.
Yeah,
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
With that, we're going to take a short break, but we'll be right back with more Studio 17.